On guys, we're going to do a real 2K recap covering the games from October 2nd and 3rd 2025. There were three games. First was the Knicks vs Sixers taking place in Abu Dhabi. Mitchell Robinson got the start next to Karl Anthony Towns. He had 7 points, 16 rebounds in 18 minutes. Very notable, as there's been a lot of buzz of what the Knicks are going to do with Mike Brown rather than Tibbs. Tibbs famously started. He did not, well. Mitchell Robinson was hurt for most of the 2024-25 season, so he didn't really have that option. And then he started. Mitch Robinson started the last four games of the playoff run, as Josh Hart was really ineffective versus the Pacers. And the Knicks starting lineup in general all season long last year wasn't very effective. You know, Hart, not a good enough shooter, doesn't offer enough spacing, and not a rim protector, obviously, on defense at only 6'4". So Mitchell Robinson gives the Knicks kind of that Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns type of two towers style that the Timberwolves kind of brought back 2 years ago, prior to the Cat trade. So interesting that the Knicks went that direction, and they did so again for their second preseason game, which is taking place as I am recording this. OG Anunoby did not start in this game, but it is starting in the Saturday afternoon game. Pacome Daddier got the start. OG had like a minor wrist sprain. But Daddier, he was not very good. He's being showcased for a trade. A lot of people expect that he will be moved so that the Knicks can fit Landry Shamet and possibly Malcolm Brogdon under the second apron. Daddier had 4 points, 1 of 6 shooting, over 5 on threes. I don't really think he's much of an NBA prospect or player. Neither does 2K, clearly, with a 69 overall rating. The first subs of the game were McBride coming in for Jalen Brunson, Clarkson coming in for Daddier, pushing Bridges to small forward, and Josh Hart coming in for Mitchell Robinson, which pushed Cat to center. So this lineup is actually notable for a few reasons. Brunson, or rather McBride, he only, for the most part, played next to Brunson or Campaign last season. Like he's not a point guard per se. He's more like a Patrick Beverly style of point guard, defensive specialist, point of attack defender. So he's a point guard on defense, but not a point guard on offense. So you really need somebody who can handle the rock next to him. And so that led to the Knicks playing these small ball lineups. He had to play next to either Brunson or Payne. This is a big part of why the Knicks brought in Jordan Clarkson, who is more of a two-guard sized player. It's why they want to have, why they also want to bring in Malcolm Brogdon, who does a lot of the same things. You may note that I actually have Malcolm Brogdon at small forward rather than at point guard or shooting guard. And I kind of just took this based on the lineups that were employed in this game. I also switched McBride from the 2 to the 1, as based on this game, it does seem like he would be playing behind Brunson rather than next to him, as they have enough guard depth, I think, at the 2 that they can get away with not playing McBride there as much. Which also means that Tyler Kolek, looking like another trade candidate, he would need to really break out, I think, in order to maintain his place with the Knicks this preseason. And Brogdon, you know, the Knicks played Shamet a lot at the 3 last year. That's how undersized they were. He was essentially the backup for OG Anunoby, and this includes during the playoff run. Shamet 6'4", 190. Brogdon is 6'5", 228. He is a big guard. And based on some of the lineups that were being used in this game, I think that he would be taking Shamet's spot in the rotation in terms of like when they need another 3-and-D wing out there. and he can also handle the ball well enough that he'd essentially be like kind of a point forward, but he's not going to be asked to guard point guards or anything. That's what they have McBride for. So that's what I've done. I've also switched Cat to power forward as a result of this. Worth noting that the Knicks do have Alex Len in camp. They're gonna have to move a lot more guys in order to get him on the team. But they are clearly very thin at the five, as if Mitch Robinson gets hurt, as he, tends to do sometimes. They really don't have much. Obviously, they can move Towns over to the five to play 30 plus minutes per game. And Yabusele, Gershon Yabusele, he can play also some 5'6'8", but stocky at 265. It is worth noting that Josh Hart actually went down in this game. He hurt his back, only played 7 minutes. It is a situation worth monitoring. Not pictured on this roster, as 2K hasn't added him to the game yet, as he technically hasn't signed a standard contract yet. Is third draft pick Diawara, Mohamed Diawara, I believe. 51st pick of the draft, if memory serves. He is kind of a 3-4 power forward, is where he played in this game. He's currently on an exhibit 10, which affords the Knicks the opportunity to convert him to a two-way contract based on who ends up getting traded. I think that based on not pictured here is Kevin McCullough either. If you saw my last video that covers the two-way contract dilemma that I'm having in the roster. In this version of the roster, I just have all the two-way guys on the G League team. So I guess it can't hurt to head over there. We got Garrison Matthews on an Exhibit 10, Jemison, McCullough, and Evbamwan on two ways. Johnny Davis is just in their G League system, period. Matt Ryan and Alex Len are also on training camp, I believe, Exhibit 9 deals, where they don't get the bonus if they maybe Ryan is on a 10 where he gets the bonus for joining the G League team, but Len probably has enough stature, 32 years old, wouldn't necessarily want to go down to the G League. But yeah, the Knicks have a lot of depth in camp for the first time in a good long while, and that's why they're looking to keep a lot of these guys coming out of camp. They want to play a bigger rotation than what Tom Thibodeau has traditionally done throughout really his whole coaching career. Anyway, that's enough on the Knicks after that first preseason game. Let's head over to the Sixers. I don't have as many notes for them specific to like what I've changed in the roster. Joel Embiid and Paul George did not play in this game. They are not cleared to play yet. Paul George might miss like the first week of the regular season, and God knows what Joel Embiid's status is. So I sidelined both of them. Jared McCain, he tore his thumb, I believe. So I sidelined him. He's probably going to miss the first like 4 to 6 weeks of the season. So the Sixers are already banged up to start. Their lineup in this game their starting lineup was Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Kelly Oubre, Dominic Barlow, and Adem Bona. So not the most competitive lineup relative to what the Knicks were fielding out there. Behind Maxey, they've got Kyle Lowry at the point. At 39 years old. Eric Gordon was the backup 2 in this game. Quentin Grimes, for what it's worth, he's not hurt. He just didn't make the trip to Abu Dhabi as he was still a free agent. He signed his qualifying offer, so he'll rejoin the team for preseason once they return from overseas. He did not. He didn't start in the Saturday afternoon game. I assume that he didn't make the trip over there. Period. Just for a couple minutes in a preseason game. But solid addition. I don't know if he's going to continue to start or come off the bench. A lot of it depends on what VJ Edgecombe does this preseason, and he was really the star of the game for the Sixers. He had 14 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Only shot 4-13 from the field, but he did look good. Very athletic. He tried to dunk on Mitchell Robinson at one point, just went right at him. So the Sixers have been very impressed by him in this camp. Kelly Oubre, I switched him to small forward rather than the 4, which I had him at last year, just based on like the training camp roster that the Sixers published. George is up to 6'8", 230. for his weight. So I thought it was more appropriate, especially with like the injuries and stuff, and how they started this game. Oubre started at the three, these first two preseason games. That I think it just makes more sense to have George at the four for this coming season. We'll see how things look once the games start counting. Um, the these two-way guys are going to get some work. These are among the better two-way guys in the league. Jabari Walker, a lot of people were surprised that he ended up on a two-way after he played pretty reasonably well for the Trailblazers this past season. Trendon Watford didn't play in this game, but he was a solid addition for the Sixers as well. So keep an eye on that. The Sixers don't have the most durable roster in the league, and Adem Bona, he got the start in this one. They probably like him better than Andre Drummond. I think they've been trying to move off of him for most of the offseason. Probably going to happen, mid-season once more players are eligible for trades. But yeah, notable that Drummond did not start in these games. Maybe once the games count, that might happen, but I don't really know. Let's head on over to the Pelicans, who played on Friday against the Melbourne United, the Australian team. Um, really good news is Troy Murphy III is healthy, and he returned, looked really good in his first game back after shoulder surgery. He had 18 points. Herb Jones also has been cleared. He's like a full participant in training camp, as I understand. He just did not play in this one, which is kind of standard for preseason games. Not everybody plays every game. They try to get different looks at different lineups. So Sadiq Bey started instead of Herb Jones. The Pelicans' actual lineup was Jordan Poole at the 1, Murphy at the 2, Sadiq Bey at the 3, Zion at the 4, and then rather than Yves Missi, it was actually Kevon Looney who got the start. That might explain why Looney got $8 million instead of the veteran minimum. If he does end up starting, which is not inconceivable, that certainly changes a little bit of things. He's not the rim protector that Missi is, although Missi's certainly foul. I wouldn't say he's a great rim protector. He's definitely very foul prone. Looney's a much better passer than Missi. So that's a look that's certainly worth keeping. I did not. This was not on my bingo card. Let's put it that way. Um, but obviously the Pelicans like him, and it's not entirely surprising to see Looney start. And the most interesting thing about this game was that right from the jump, it was actually Point Zion, which actually kind of makes sense when you look at the rest of the lineup. If you play Zion offensively as the 1, it bumps Poole up to the 2, Murphy to the 3, and then Sadiq Bey is basically a small ball 4. Zion's guarding the 4s on defense, but offensively, these guys are all playing off of Zion. So I thought that worked really well. And obviously, it's against a non-NBA team, but still. And this was only confirmed by the first substitution for the Pelicans was Jeremiah Fears subbing in for Sadiq Bey. So that essentially meant that Zion went back to his natural 4 once Fears entered the game. And then the lineup that they finished the game with was Jose Alvarado at the 1, Fears at the 2, which I guess he has enough size for at 6'4", and then Bey at the 3, Zion at the 4, and Missi at the 5. And yeah, I'm not sure. Herb Jones is going to have to shoot it better than he did last year. He, on a small sample, 2 years ago, he was over 40% from 3, but it was on a small sample. Where the heck is that? Yeah, 42% in the 24 season, but then only 31% in the 25 season, and we can see from the rest of his line, more or less an outlier. 37% is okay, but it is on a very small volume. Where's per game? The navigation on the 2K stats page is not the greatest. 3-point attempts, yeah, 3.4 per 36 minutes. So he needs to get this number up if he's going to be playing in the lineup with Zion at the 4 or / point guard, and Kevon Looney as well, or Looney or Missi. Neither one of them can shoot. They don't have a stretch 5 on this team. So certainly, if Sadiq Bey, he missed all of last season with the Washington Wizards, but he's generally been traditionally a slightly better shooter. And yeah, we see the last time he was healthy, he got 6.3 uh, 3-point attempts per 36. He's at 7.5 for his career, so it wouldn't be unreasonable. Granted, only shot 32% in 2024. Wasn't the most effective, but he did shoot it better in other seasons at higher volume. So I do think that he could end up starting over Herb Jones, even though Herb Jones is making a lot more money. Maybe that makes Herb Jones a trade candidate down the line. Probably one of these guys has to get traded, and I think they prefer Trey Murphy the third over Jones at this current juncture. And just to finish it off, we had the other preseason game from the other day was the Suns versus the Lakers. Pretty uncompetitive game. The Lakers just didn't show up to this game. Ran a very unconventional lineup. But the Suns, Devin Booker had 24.7 assists, started at point guard. Jalen Green did not play, so Grayson Allen got the start in his stead. The Suns lineup was Booker, Grayson Allen, and then Brooks. And rather than Royce O'Neal, it was Ryan Dunn starting at the 4, which is something I kind of anticipate happening. Um, in general, Ryan Dunn is younger. Royce O'Neal, he's like 30 at this point, right? 32, yeah, he's getting up there. So probably, high minutes, but in a bench role is probably the role he's looking at. And then Mark Williams, he's not ready yet. He's still ramping up. Obviously, injury risk at any point. So Isu Igudaro got the start at the 5. Nick Richards with the backup. Kamen Malawach didn't play until like the mid third quarter, I believe. So he's pretty far down on the depth chart. Decent insurance long term for Mark Williams. I'm not really sure what the Suns were thinking drafting both him and trading for Mark Williams when Mark Williams is about to be extension eligible. I'm not sure how that situation is necessarily going to play out. I guess we have the whole season to figure out. Suns don't have a ton else to play for, but aside from that, Jared Butler had he's a player to keep an eye on. The Suns are a little thin at point guard. He did have 12 points in this game, but he did also have 5 turnovers. And even though he was signed kind of earlier in the summer than a lot of these guys, he is essentially on a non-guaranteed camp contract. So 1 assist versus 5 turnovers, 12 points. We know he can put the ball in the hole, but can he run the team? That's something that they definitely are going to be looking for. So keep an eye on that in camp. And then the Lakers, LeBron and Luka didn't play, so not really much to discuss there. Reeves had 20 points. He was really the only player that played well in this one. They ran a Reeves at the 1, Hachimura Jake LaRavia at the 2, I guess. Hachimura at the 3, Vanderbilt at the 4, and then DeAndre Ayton at the 5. Not enough shooting with Vanderbilt, and any Vanderbilt lineup is always going to be tough. But Vando and Ayton in the front court, and then Jake LaRavia is like a 3-4, and then one of those guys, either him or Rui, was at the 2. So. And then Austin Reeves being asked to match up with. It should not be surprising that Devin Booker had a really good game, given that he was matched against Austin Reeves. I'm sure Vando, spent a lot of time on him on defense, but the Lakers just didn't have enough offense to really compete with the Suns in that one. Not really, not a lineup you're going to see once the games start counting. It's okay to experiment during preseason. But DeAndre Ayton, he had 1 single point in this game on 0 of 2 shooting. 8 rebounds and 2 blocks, though. That's probably more in line with what he's going to be doing throughout the year. And he did play 18 minutes, so only 2 shots in 18 minutes. I guess that's part of the DeAndre Ayton experience now. Once Luka and LeBron are both playing, he's probably going to have a lot more games like this one where he only gets 2 shots, and maybe the fact that they were absent actually hurt him a little bit because he's somebody that is looking to thrive off of like lobs from those guys. But all the same, you would have hoped for him to be a little more aggressive offensively, especially against his former team. So, not the greatest start to his Lakers career, but just something to monitor. It's preseason for a reason. And speaking of preseason, LeBron James had 8 points in this game. Was also 1 for 12 from the field. That's probably going to be the most shots he ever takes in a game for his career. Um, I really hope he can put it together. I'm rooting for him. I like the 3 and D point guard archetype in general. But yeah, he's got to. I think he was 1 for 8 on threes. So that's the part of his game where he's really got to put that together if he's gonna be able to make a roster. He's got the defense part down. It's the three that is the problem for him. Anyway, if we're talking about Bronny, it probably means it's time to end this episode of Real 2K Recap. As per always, you can download my roster, Real 2K Rosters, Modern Era roster, which my gamer tag is Real 2K Insider. Actually, let me just get out of this just so I can show it on the screen. Don't upload. That's right, don't upload. We did it. Okay. Only 200 downloads. I have not been promoting my content at all. I'm kind of touch and go in terms of how much I'm going to be editing rosters this season, and the ratings and all that stuff that I typically do. If you saw my last video, I covered like the roster user interface in general is kind of busted this year. Hence why I had to go over to the two-way contract to the Knicks G League team to like showcase some of their players because I can't actually add them to the game. It's an actual problem within the roster. 2K can do it no problem because they use a spreadsheet and then upload that into the game. But for any user who has to use the interface in the game, it's not possible because the game is bugged. So yeah, I'm not sure how much effort I'm going to put into roster editing for this season. This might be kind of a gap year where I focus on other aspects, maybe other eras in the game, like the Kobe era, Steph, LeBron, Jordan, etc. We'll see what I decide to do this year. But in the meantime, thank you for watching, and be on the lookout for more 2K recaps across this NBA preseason. I'll see you guys later. Peace.